Manishankar Iyer, senior leader of the Congress party, with me on the phone line. Mr. Iyer, your reactions on this very sad news of Pranab Da's passing, sir.
I am deeply saddened. He was one of the most remarkable statesmen of the post-Nehru era in independent India. He had an understanding of the country, its ethos, its policy requirements, of an order that I frankly did not find in any other Indian statesman that I knew. And I do believe that his going has left a void in India's political life that is at least as large as the void he left in the Congress party when he became the President of India in 2012. We have, in the Congress party, suffered a great deal because of his absence since he became the President of India. And I fear the country is going to miss his wise counsel, couched always in constitutionally proper language and with an abundance of precedent that I don't think anyone else in Indian politics has ever possessed, and which he shared with great humility, not arrogance, with his colleagues to make his case. So if he is no more with us, that is truly a national loss, and I trust his departure will be appropriately honored by the government of India.
Manishankar Iyer, thanks for speaking to India today. Pranab Mukherjee was, remember, bestowed with the Bharat Ratna as well in recognition to his contributions to public life across decades, across political administrations, across political situations that have faced the country as well. I want to get in a view from as many people as possible who have worked with Pranab Da, who've reported on him, who've covered him, written about him. Neerja Chaudhary, senior journalist, is one such who's interviewed Pranab Da many times, spent much time reporting on him as well. Neerja ji, your thoughts today as we bid farewell to Pranab Mukherjee.
Yeah, we feel, a loved and proud son of India and of his beloved Bengal. I think India will miss him. And yeah, one is very saddened to hear this. And he was a man of consensus. He was a man who believed deeply in the primacy of Parliament. I remember him, when Parliament would be stalled, he would get very irritated and angry, and once, not long ago, he told the opposition, all the MPs and political leaders, for heaven's sake, get on with it. He didn't like, the ordinance route. And really, I think he stood with Indira Gandhi during the emergency. That was a paradox of Pranab Mukherjee. And I think because of emergency, probably he came around to the view giving importance to fundamental rights and democratic rights as the way to rule a country like as plural as India. So it is his contribution was enormous as the head of many ministries, important ministries. But essentially, as a man who believed consensus was the way to run this country,
yes,
a plural country. And he had conversations across parties. That was his skill.
A very sad day for India, a very sad day for politics and for the Congress party. Your thoughts, sir, today on the passing away of Pranab Mukherjee?
Without doubt, he was a giant of a man. He sort of he immersed himself in the ideology of the Congress party. He had an elephant's memory. He guided the party. And in many ways, he guided the nation towards the kind of trajectory that we have achieved so far. Remember during UPA 1 and UPA 2, he played so many roles within the party, within the government, and what a loss it is to the nation. He's like the Northern Star. He'll always shine, no matter what happens. History will record his great contributions to the nation. And I think it's a very, very sad day for all of us within the party and for the nation. And he rose to the highest pinnacles of authority, having achieved the position of President of India. He represented the soul of the nation.
Mr. Sibal, any personal memories of your interactions with Pranab Mukherjee? He truly, had such a wide-ranging public life over so many decades. As a senior Congress leader yourself, anything you'd like to share about your personal interactions with Pranab?
Started with him when he was not in the Congress party. I remember the wonderful moments we used to have in the Belvedere, having tea, sharing cups of tea and chartering course of action as to how he would get back into the Congress. I myself, Lalit Bhasin and Pranab Mukherjee, three of us, used to meet very often at the Belvedere. Of course, once he got back into the Congress party and was at the helm of affairs, then the evenings I used to spend with him, listening to his wonderful stories about anecdotes about congressmen and what happened in the Congress party over the years. Because remember, he was one member who actually served the country as a member of parliament, I think, right from the 50s or the 60s. And he knew almost everybody in the political firmament, and he had wonderful stories to tell, which he would regale us with after dinner. He would say, Kapil, he would tell some of my other colleagues, Ahmed Bhai. I remember both of us going to him in the evenings, and then we would sit, he would serve cups of coffee and some toast, and we would chat for hours. He was an encyclopedia of knowledge. He provided so much light to us in the context of the Indian political system, because he knew it backwards. He knew each party, he knew the leaders of each party, and I think we have lost something very special. Today is a great loss for the country.
Madam, thank you very much for speaking to us here on India Today. Your thoughts on the passing away of another former president, Pranab Mukherjee, today, ma'am.
ये बहुत ही दुखद घटना है. I'm very touched by this. I'm feeling very sorry. It's a personal loss to me. He was like a brother to me, which I will ever remember. I used to tie Rakhi to him. This time, because of COVID, I could not send Rakhi to him, so he phoned up me from there and said, "How are you? I know this time you could not send it." But he greeted me on phone and asked me to be very careful. But he himself probably didn't remain careful, and he got this terrible disease. I'm very sorry that he is no more. It's a personal loss to me. He was a great man. The nation has lost a very great man, a politician, a knowledgeable person, a man with very sharp memory, and his contributions are in many fields, not in one field. So it's a great loss to the nation.
Pratibha ji, any personal memories of your interactions? You've just told us the wonderful story about him being your Rakhi brother. Any other personal interactions going back the many years that you'd like to share and that you will keep very close to your heart regarding Pranab da?
Yes, it was. I mean, there are many such stories that I remember. But then, when I was leader for opposition here in Maharashtra, he used to come and we used to discuss about different issues in Maharashtra. And when I used to go to Delhi, we used to discuss about various issues in Delhi. So when I was Rashtrapati now, I used to discuss with him regarding different schemes which should be taken by the government, and I had told him about one or two very important schemes, and he used to listen to me
he used to come and discuss with me about the budget which he used to go to, which he used to present before the parliament. Before that, he would come and discuss and ask, with think there is something else you want here. So these are very personal memories.
Mr. Scindia, your memories, your sentiments today on the passing away of Pranab Mukherjee.
It's a big loss. It's a great loss for the nation. In Pranab, we have lost one of the most iconic statesmen that this country has ever produced. In his multifarious roles, right from inception in politics in Bengal to being a Commerce and Industry Minister under Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, to being the Finance Minister, the Home Minister, to being the leader of the opposition, leader of the government in Parliament, to being the President of India. There are very few people about whom in public service we can say that they give much more respect to the post than the post gives to them. And I think Pranab was one of those people. He was also a very straightforward person, a person who would never mince his words, very clear in his thinking, knew exactly he was either black or white, never shades of grey, and his service to the nation is something that will always be cherished by all of us who had a honor of being under his tutelage. I've had 20 years of experience with him, and in my various ministerial stints, whether it was as a telecom or IT and post minister, where I went with a new reformation project, or Project Arrow, which reformed the postal department. He gave us full blessings from a financial perspective for that initiative, which has now in many ways transformed our postal system. I remember as Commerce Minister going to him for a transactional cost reduction initiative for industry across 9 verticals. And he himself took a great interest in it and pursued it with me. So he was a partner in many ways to people, even though he was so senior in years, almost 2 generations beyond me. But he never let you feel that way.
Yes.
And in losing him, I think in many ways one has lost someone who you could always turn to for advice. And I think it's a great loss for the nation, for all of us. And my deepest condolences to both Sharmishta ji and Abhijit, with whom both I've had a very long-standing relationship. And it's a loss for me as well, and not only for them. And I think you also would pretty much echo those sentiments.